Okay, so today we're talking about rounding decimals, which is 6.2 in our textbook. We need to talk about what rounding is to start with. I need you to write this down. Now, we've dealt with rounding a bit with whole numbers, so you just need to use what you already know about rounding with whole numbers and apply that to decimals. So rounding is when we have a really long decimal number, and we don't need to use all those decimal places. We just approximate the number to less decimal places than is in the original number, and when we do that, it's called rounding. So you can see this example here, 0.14582347. We don't really need all those numbers, so we can round it just to make it easier to work with. We can round it to 0.146, and in the next slide I'm going to talk to you about the process for doing that. Now, when we're rounding a decimal, like I said, we need to use what we know about rounding whole numbers, but that all are also extra things we need to understand. So an easy way of doing it is to cut the number to the required decimal places. Now, by cutting the number, I just mean putting a line next to the decimal place you want to round to. So if we wanted to round this number to one decimal place, so just say I want to round it to tenths, I would cut the number after the tenths place. And then the number after the cut is the critical digit. Okay, so that's step 2. So first of all, I cut the number, then I identify the critical digit. That's not a very good line. Okay, so the 3 is the critical digit. All right, so this is the one we look at to see whether we need to round the number up or down. So as with whole numbers, you round up if the digit is 5 to 9, and you round down if it's 0 to 4. In this case, the critical digit is a 3, so that means we round down. Now, rounding down just means we leave it at the original, the number that's already there. So we round down to the 5. So therefore, the answer is 4.5. If we had to round up, so if the critical digit was 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, then we would round it up to 4.6. But in this case, we don't need to. All right, now we're going to look at rounding to a variety of different decimal places. So sometimes you're going to be asked for a number of reasons to round to a certain number of decimal places. For example, in a lot of your maths tests, you'll have to round to 2 decimal places. So you need to understand what that means. In this case, the example here, we want you to round this number to 3 decimal places. So that means that we want you to round to the thousandths place. So we put a cut after the 3 decimal places. We identify the critical digit, which is the 7, and we either round up or down by looking at the critical digit. So in this case, the critical digit is a 7. That means we need to round the thousandths place up. So the answer will be, don't forget to be using our therefore signs. Therefore, it's rounded to 9.647 because we had to round up. Now it's your turn. I want you to prove that you understand what to do here by doing this on your own and round these numbers to the specified number of decimal places. Now by that I mean you need to round the first number to 2 decimal places. The second number you need to round to 1 decimal place, so that means the tenths column. And then the third number, I want you to round that to 3 decimal places. So please pause the video and do that for me now. Alrighty, so you should have for the first one, rounded to 2 decimal places. So this should have been your working out. So you've cut it, you've identified the critical digit, and in this case critical digit is a 7, so we need to round up. Therefore, it is 6.54. So rounding to 2 decimal places meant rounding to hundredths. Right, round to 1 decimal place, which is tenths. 5's our critical digit. Therefore, we need to round up again. So it's 25 point. Now we round up to the next number, which is 8. And this one, 3 decimal places. Now this is a 0, so that means we leave it at the original number. We just get rid of the other numbers at the end. So it's 9.871. So you should have got those as your answers.